ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणीं अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। पवित्रं चरितं यस्याः पवित्रं जीवनं तथा पवित्रतास्वरूपिण्यै तस्यै कुर्मो नमो नमः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते। Yesterday it was a talk in Kannada and today it's an English one. I will not be continuing what was said yesterday, but a new topic for today, just for today, because from next Sunday, the Atmanj will be speaking, who is coming from London next Sunday. After that, continue Saturday, Sundays, Revered Harshanj Madhav will continue his lectures. So as far as today is concerned, let us have a look, a little bit of early stages of Ramakrishna movement. Because many factors we don't know, neither there are options. There are many books in Bengali rather than in English and Kannada. Kannada, very less translations are there. There are more translations in English compared to Kannada. So today we will have a glimpse of that early history of Ramakrishna movement. Before continuing, I will take up one incident from Master Mahashaya's life. You see, after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, before coming in contact with Sri Ramakrishna also, he had lot of problems in life. He wanted to commit suicide, that we knew, with that we know. But even after passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, his own son, one of his sons, became a drunkard. He had lot of debts. He used to ask money with Master Mahashaya to take alcohol drinks. With all this, and he had a lot of problem in his house also. Even he had problem with the Martin school. There were a lot of troubles in his house. This Dinabandhu Maharaj, who later became some Nityatmananda, who used to observe Master Mahashaya every day, in between he used to write the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, who took 30 years to write Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, 5 volumes. He used to see M with a tranquil mind. In spite of all these troubles, he always used to be calm, tranquil, and his mind always to be on Thakur's feet. One day he questioned M, how come, sir, you are able to maintain the tranquility of the mind in spite of this restlessness of this world and the circumstances? Then M very nicely puts it, you see, why mind becomes restless? He puts a question to Swami Nityatmananda. He writes that preface in the 7th volume of M, the Evangelist. You can read it in that preface. He says, why the mind becomes restless? And continues, see, for ordinary people, the word comes first, second comes God. For me, God comes first, then comes the word. So, the moment the mind fixes the mind on God and takes word as a second step, the first step is Sri Ramakrishna or the God, and second step is this word, then the restlessness of the mind will be subsided. So, you see, then he makes 3 points there. One thing is, he says, we have 3 aspects in the body that we know. One is the gross body, second is the subtle body, and the third is causal body. Put it, Stula, Sukshma, and Karana Sharira. To make the mind tranquil, we have to supply food to all these 3 parts of the body. How to do it? M says, you take care of the gross body with food and clothing. You take care of the subtle body with education, so-called education and knowledge. And when you come to the third aspect, that the causal body or Karana Sharira, it happens only with the constant relationship with God. When we supply this food of constant relationship with God to the causal body, then only the restlessness of the mind stops. Until then, it cannot be restful or peaceful, So, for that aspect, we have to develop the habit of either a parayana or a deep study or a japa or meditation or coming into contact with ashrama or in a temple, etc., to have the constant relationship with God for building up samskara in that karana sharira to remove all our bad samskaras. He makes this point. Even Napoleon, in later days, when he was imprisoned in St. Helena, in that island near Italy, he makes one wonderful comment there. He says, the empires of Alexander, Caesar, and mine have been lost in our lifetime. But that of Christ began after passing away and is growing from day to day. Even while he says, I have won so many wars, but the memory of Waterloo, he lost that battle of Waterloo, Napoleon Bonaparte. The memory of that war will efface all my winning battles. During his Alexander time, he lost everything. Caesar was killed by his own subordinates. So, the food given only to the gross body will efface with this body. To continue the journey, we have to provide the food to the causal body with these aspects of meditation so that we can gain a constant relationship with the divine. These points are mentioned by Master Mahashaya to Nityatmananda. So, even in one place, when Raja Maharaj was there in Belur Math, one of the brahmachari who had a wonderful idea regarding gardening, especially growing nice flowers. And for Thakur Puja, we need lot of flowers, and Brahmaji was also very good at gardening. One day, he took a brahmachari to the garden and showed him wonderful rose flowers, some in buds, some have bloomed wonderfully. Showing all these things, he asked the brahmachari, seeing all these flowers, what do you feel? Then brahmachari told, Maharaj, I feeling like taking these flowers in my bosom and to enjoy the fragrance. I feel like taking all these flowers in my bosom and to enjoy the fragrance. Then Raja Maharaj makes one wonderful statement there, and he says, it is nice that you enjoy the flower. You have all the freedom to appreciate the beauty, but you have no right to make it your possession. This flower belongs to Thakur. Why should you possess a thing and suffer the consequence? Raja Maharaj makes this statement. Why should you possess a thing and suffer from that consequence? This word is there to be seen, not to possess. This is the understatement or the reading between the lines. This word is there to be seen, understood, experienced, to know that this is transient. And hence, to understand all these points, one more point, I remembered one more incident, just to put it here with respect to Raja Maharaj, and then I will continue. It's to the same brahmachari, one day he shows a nice magnolia. Even backside we have one plant of magnolia, which is a wonderful flower which gives a good fragrance, especially during winter. That magnolia plant was there. Raja Maharaj asked that brahmachari to water that magnolia plant every day with 2 buckets of water, once in the morning, once in the evening. Then that brahmachari used to do it very sincerely, but one day he was supposed to go to Calcutta for a marketing in the evening. He went away in the afternoon itself. He came late in the night. When he entered Belur Mutt, after seeing magnolia plant, he remembered that Raja Maharaj had asked him to put water to that plant. Then he remembered and then gave water to that plant at the night. Next day morning, Raja Maharaj was taking a stroll in the Belur Mutt campus. Seeing the tree, how come he understood, I don't know, but seeing that plant and tree, he says, he called that brahmachari and asked him, "Do you water this plant yesterday?" Then that brahmachari replied, "Yes, Maharaj, I watered this plant." Then Raja Maharaj said, "I doubt this." Then he confessed that I had been to Calcutta and I could water it only in the night. Then Raja Maharaj makes a wonderful statement, which is a very striking statement. Maharaj asked him, "Then where is your brahmacharya now?" Very striking question and answer. Where is your brahmacharya now? You are unable to water this plant and he is connecting to that matter to a brahmacharya. How come? The thing that to be understood here is, you see, a brahmachari should be alert 24 hours of a day to be a spiritual person. More specifically, he should be alert all the 24 hours a day. And Raja Maharaj says, if you had known that you are going to a market, you have asked some other brahmachari to water at the respective time which I have told, and I am your guru instructing something for your welfare, and you are unable to follow, and you will have to fall in spiritual life also without following the words of your own guru. So, if the mind is not alert, even in the gross level, it is very certain we are going to fall at the subtle levels of this spiritual life. Hence, these are some of the very important aspects which have to be understood very well. And to imbibe all these ideas, there was an avatara to make it more understandable through many of these centers. When Thakur was coming from Panchavati towards his room, M makes one statement to Sri Ramakrishna. He says, "It will be fine if a current flows from this place," mentioning this Dakshineshwar, he says, "It will be fine if a current flows from this place, everything will be carried away by its force. Nothing that comes out of this place will be monotonous. Nothing coming from this place will be monotonous. I expect that a current flows from this place and everything will be carried away by that force." Sri Ramakrishna never utters the words, but he simply smiles, approving the words of Master Mahashaya. He wanted a current to be aroused through this avatara for the future days, and with that prarthana, he makes it to Thakur, and Sri Ramakrishna approves what Master Mahashaya intended to say. So, even Sri Ramakrishna had so many prophetic revelations in his life. He had one idea among those revelations. One of the revelations was, he wanted to create a community given to the liberal faith which he revealed in his own life. He wanted to, it is one of the aspects, it is written, even this has been mentioned by Swami Sharadanji Maharaj, Sharat Maharaj in Leela Prasanga also. In many of the places it has been oft quoted. Many of the important books. Thakur wanted to create a community with a liberal faith which he has experienced in his own life. He wanted that they should be spread in later life through a system. So, the next question comes, where was this foundation put forth? So we can very easily say it was in Kasipur Garden House where Thakur made it very definite with this mission. You see, one aspect there are many wonderful things to be meditated upon with respect to Kasipur Garden House incidences. One of the things is, very important is, you see, Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from throat cancer. He had the will to die at any moment, but he did not do in spite of suffering. If he was suffering too much, he could have passed his body even in samadhi. He would get law every moment he used to go into bhava samadhi. Going into bhava samadhi with his own icha, if he wanted to stay there and would not come to this world, and this mortal body would have been cremated. He had that icha, but he did not do it. Even like a Bhishma, he had that ichamana, he could have passed away any moment, seeing the suffering of this body. He did not do it. Why? He wanted to organize the cream part for the moment. The very moment we see a person suffering in this world, the most common aspect of any person in this world is, see, the more I worship a God, the more economic prosperity one should have. A man worships the God, he should not fall into any suffering. Many people ask this question. Swamiji, we are associated with ashrama, with Swamiji, with some temple, with a sadhu, etc. But still, we lost a boy, we met with an accident, we have so much crisis, we have suffering in this world. Why? There is no direct proportional relationship with these two aspects. Here, Thakur wanted to select a cream person, putting a gross body with a cancer at the outset. Behind, he wanted to select only the important person. The moment any ordinary man, what he says himself to be a great Paramahamsa, he himself is unable to avoid the suffering of such a very deadly disease like cancer. How can he is able to save us? With this question, more gross part of the people of devotees of Calcutta will leave away with Thakur, and only the cream part is there to serve, still seeing the divinity in Sri Ramakrishna. So, with these aspects, there are so many aspects. I am just touching the important part, just to give a panoramic view of this Ramakrishna movement. With this, we can see during Kasipur Garden House, there were two main pillars for this Ramakrishna movement. One side we see Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, on the other side is Narendranath, that is Swami Vivekananda. Even Holy Mother makes one remark with respect to Kasipur Garden House. I want to read it in ditto, where Mother says, at the Kasipur Garden House, the Master spent the last days of his life. The place is associated with so much meditation, samadhi, and the practice of austerities. It is the place where the Master entered into Mahasamadhi. It is a place permeated with an intense spiritual vibration. One realizes God consciousness by meditating there. It is a remark made by Holy Mother. What a wonderful statement you see. One realizes God consciousness by meditating there. If one meditates in Kasipur, one can get that God consciousness. That is the place, Kasipur Garden House, because all the direct disciples were so much immersed in these austerities, because Sri Ramakrishna was supposed to develop these boys into wonderful spiritual giants. It was his last days, and he molded their personality in such a wonderful fashion that so much deep meditation. Narendra had deep Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Tharak, Swami Shivananda had thrice the experience of Samadhi. So much things happened there. Holy Mother was staying there, and all the devotees were all day and night thinking of Sri Ramakrishna, Shashi Maharaj, so much wonderfully serving Thakur. These are all the spiritual vibrations that developed during Kasipur Garden House, and that's why Holy Mother says one can really get God consciousness by meditating there. When Thakur passed away, 1886, the next question came, what is the next step? So, these household devotees went back to their houses. But how come Barnagar Mutt was started? What were the main reasons? There are especially 3 reasons to start the Barnagar Mutt. On the one side, we see that the urn containing the ashes of Thakur, it is called Shriji. There it is. When Swamiji, Mahapurush Maharaj, Brahmanji Maharaj, we say Atma Rama also, but basically they used to call it Shriji. This, half of it, took by Ramchandra Datta, established in Kankurgachi. The main portion was with these direct disciples. They took all the belongings of Thakur and kept in Balram Subbo's house. By this time, Latu, Swami Adbhutananda, Tarak, Swami Shivananda, and senior Gopal, Bada Gopal, that is Swami Advaitananda. These 3 disciples have already left their home. They have no place to stay. And this urn has to be established somewhere. This was the first necessity. And second, which is narrated in Thakur's life, that Surendranath Mitra was once meditating in his worship room. Suddenly he Thakur Sri Ramakrishna coming in front of him and saying, "What are you doing? My disciples are roaming here and there without a chata, without a roof, and it is better you go and do something for them." Then they start searching for a rented house. This is the second aspect. Then there is a third aspect. One Shashi Bhushan Ghosh, who is an authentic writer of biography of Sri Ramakrishna. We never knew his name, but it is there. Shashi Bhushan Ghosh, he also has written the life of Thakur, one of the biography written by Shashi Bhushan Ghosh. He narrates one incident in his book. During Kasipur days, this Surendranath Mitra was very fond of Mother Kali. He is a worshipper of Mother Kali. He himself had requested a painter to paint that harmony of religions, that photo we see very often with Thakur on one side, Keshav Chandra Sen and all the faithful people on the other side. This was painting through Surendranath Mitra. He asked a painter to paint the Mother Kali's picture. That painter painted and gave it to him. He took it to his house, but all the family members objected to keep the photo of Kali in their house, and they sent him away with that photo itself. Then he had no place to keep it. What to do? He came to Kasipur Garden House, placed in the same room where Thakur lived. After passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, he wanted a place to keep this photo, and he was also searching for a place. All these 3 things combined, and they finally rented the Barnagar place, where it is mainly through Bhavanath they could get this Barnagar Mutt premises. You see, there are so many. It is better you read the early history of Ramakrishna Mission by Prabhanji Maharaj, and there is one book on Ramakrishna Mission written, many articles by all our stalwart Swamis. Wonderful article. It is better to read once. There, such a worst place to say that Barnagar Mutt to stay. The ground floor is fully with the jackals, bandicoot. Bandicoot is what you say in Kannada, Hegana. Bandicoot, jackals, rats, mices, ant hills even up to a height of 3 feet, and all the sand and mud stored up to the height of 2-3 feet. All is shrubby, jungle-like, and all strewn with mosquitoes, and it was also a haunted house, a ghost-haunted house. There are so many wonderful stories. I don't want to narrate this because I don't want to give you some negative ideas. There are so many incidents connected with ghost with respect to Barnagar Mutt and also with respect to Alambazar Mutt. You please read it yourself. So, as this house was a haunted house, everybody was afraid to enter, and hence it was rented by these disciples of Thakur. Nobody used to stay there. In that story of an epoch by Swami Virjanji Maharaj, he narrates one story there, one incident. You see, when he newly went into this Barnagar Mutt, Swamiji was not there, Swamiji Vivekananda was not there in that mutt. He was newly joined. The ground floor, they never used to stay. It is not at all possible anybody to stay in any of the rooms, dampness and all snakes, etc. They used to stay in the first floor. So, they all used to sleep in the same common hall in the center of the hall. Night time, they had no pillow. They used to keep a brick under their head to sleep. So while sleeping, Virjanji Maharaj had a peculiar habit of rubbing his head to a pillow in his house. So we thought that he could not get sleep. Here, after coming to Barnagar Mutt also, night, he placed the mat on the brick. He cannot rub directly on the brick. So he placed the mat on the brick and started rubbing his head at night. Suddenly, whole building started crumbling. All the other disciples got up and thought there is an earthquake. Such a dilapidated house was Bharanagar Mutt, where this Ramakrishna movement started. When this building was taken on 19th October 1886, just 2 months after Thakur's passing away, they could rent this house for just rupees 10 on 19th October 1886. There, we should remember that all the belongings were in Balram Bose's house. He had kept the utensils and the things used by Sri Ramakrishna in one almara. In the meantime, even recently also in our museum, some theft was there with respect to Holy Mother's relics. Last 3 months, 4 months. Even during Balram's tenure there, somebody stole the woolen cloths of Sri Ramakrishna from Balram's house. Then Holy Mother writes a letter to Balram and says, be careful with respect to Thakur's belongings, never to lose anything, have a security for that, keep it in almara and lock all those things. Mother writes in a letter and instructs Balram to be careful with the things of Sri Ramakrishna. And this junior Gopal was instrumental in arranging all this Bharanagar Mutt. He even went to Kasipur. There was one mat left used by Thakur in the same room. He brought all those things, arranged the things in that room. They made one worship room where they kept all the beddings of Sri Ramakrishna, kept the urn on that, and in front they kept a small stool, kept Sri Ramakrishna's paduka on that, and then started the worship of Sri Ramakrishna by Shashi Maharaj from that day. Now, till then, with respect to this group, till Bharanagar Mutt, the whole focus was on Sri Ramakrishna. Now there is a second phase coming into the movement where we see the second phase shifts, the focus shifts on Narendranath, who is leading the whole campus. Even there is one wonderful insight with respect to Swamiji, reminiscences. Later, when Swamiji started this Belur Mutt and he passed away in 1902, Holy Mother instructs the other monks, including Brahmanji, Sharat Maharaj, Premanji, they were all there when Swamiji passed away. Mother called them and instructs them, you see, you should be, hereafter, you should be very careful with your life. Though Brahmanji is there, Premanji is there, Mahapurush Maharaj is there, they are all stalwarts, but still Mother says, be careful hereafterwards. Why? Mother says, you see, this Narendra is a big giant, he is a spiritual giant. Till now he was there, his power was there in Belur Mutt. Now he is no more as in this mortal coil. So you should be careful with your austerities and sadhana. Without this Belur Mutt cannot be maintained. Mother says, you see, though we say Raja Maharaj is the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna, Mother says, now there is no Swamiji here in this mutt, you should be more careful than before. That was the strength of Swami Vivekananda. So now the focus shifts from Thakur in this Bharanagar Mutt to Narendranath. Here, everybody except Tharak, Lathu, Badagopal, all other boys went back to their houses. Narendra went to each and every house, inspired them with the ideas of renunciation, brought them back to the mud, and he was cursed by all the family members there. Even it seems, Latu says, when Narendra was out, not in Barnagar mud, they always used to feel a void in the campus. That was the personality with respect to Narendra. Here, Swamiji, with respect to Barnagar mud, he makes a statement in one of his lecture, which I am going to read. Please listen. We had no friends, just think of it. A dozen boys telling people vast, big ideas, saying they are determined to work these ideas out in life. Why? Everybody laughed. From laughter, it became serious. It became persecution. Why? The parents of the boys came to feel like spanking every one of us. And the more we were derided, the more determined we became. Such was the condition. Even many wanted to persecute these disciples. Even the household disciples did not agree. Swamiji starting this Barnagar Math, Ramchandra criticized. Even none of them supported. Even Surendranath Mitra, though financially supported many times, he avoided giving money. Balram Bose was there, 1890, he passed away. Master Mahashaya could contribute something. There were a lot of problems, but still Swamiji says in his lecture, they wanted to persecute, but still our determination stood. There, we should have one other aspect is, we know Vijay Krishna Goswami, who is a follower of this Sadharana Brahma Samaj, after Thakur's living, he wanted these boys to come and help in Brahma Samaj, not to maintain a Barnagar Math. He was so much after these boys, inspiring. When Narendranath was not there in Barnagar Math, Vijay Krishna Goswami used to inspire these boys to work for the sake of Brahma Samaj. Even Surendranath Banerjee wanted these boys to work for the patriotic ideas of this country to get freedom. And the third part, even police had lot of wrong information with these boys staying in a dilapidated haunted house. These are all the things which Swamiji mentioned, that there was more serious persecution with respect to these boys and more determined we were. Why? All this condition was not in favor to start a mission there at Barnagar Math. In a nice letter, Swamiji writes to Pramadas Mitra. He gives a wonderful advice. There in reply, Swamiji says, is such a wonderful statement just here. I am Ramakrishna's slave, having laid my body at his feet with till and tulsi water. Till means what you call yellu. Yellu neer bidodu anta kannada heltivala hage. I am Ramakrishna's slave, having laid my body at his feet with till and tulsi leaves. Continues, he writes, the heart must be plucked, and the bleeding heart placed upon the altar, then great things are done. To do great things, Swamiji says, pluck your bleeding heart, placed on the altar, and then you will attain greater things in life. Without this wonderful capacity and determination of Swamiji, simply Thakur loved Narendra. Narendra was a gem of all these things. Now, coming to the aspect of this Barnagar Math, Swamiji has mentioned so many things in his lectures also. Every day, all these disciples used to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. They used to sit for meditation till 4 or 5 till evening, 12 to 13 hours they should sit, because no food, nothing to get up, nothing to eat, nothing to see. Sit in one corner, go on doing meditation from morning 3 till night, and Swamiji says even ghosts and demons were afraid of us. What to speak of men? He quotes in a lecture, even ghosts and demons were afraid of our sadhana and austerities. What to speak of men? He says in a lecture. Then Shishimara took care of Thakur's worship. We should remember, when Shishimara started the puja, there was no dhyana mantra with respect to Thakur's worship. It is there in Barnagar Math that Swami Abhedanji composed the song Hridaya Kamala Madhye. then only Shashi Maharaj adopted this song as the Dhyana mantra for the worship of Sri Ramakrishna. There is one thing we should understand with respect, I will just give one little few ideas with respect to our puja of Tantra. One thing we should understand, if you go to other temples, what is the difference between our Ramakrishna mission aspect of worship and outside temple worship? There we have the concept of Vaishnavism, which says Archavatara by Ramanujacharya. Archavatara, what is Archavatara? Worshipping the deity in an ideal, invoking his presence, we call Pranapratisthapana during temple inauguration. You inaugurate a temple, you do Pranapratisthapana to the idol, you do all the worship to the ideal, you do worship etc. here. But you don't see the same aspect in our worship room here. Though we have a photograph of Thakur Masamji, the worship is done below in a Tamrakunda. What is that? Here, what we do is, we conceive the Ishtadevata in the heart, the lotus of the heart, meditate there, and conceive the Ishtadevata merging in the Sahasrara. Then again we bring from Sahasrara to the lotus of heart in the form of our Ishta. Then with a Bija Mantra Yam, we bring out that Ishta glowing as consciousness on the flower where one pujari sits in a Kurma Mudra for meditation. He conceives the Ishta as pure consciousness. Then he transfers that pure consciousness to a little flower, and that flower is transferred to that Baneshwara Linga which we have kept in front of us. Now Thakur is there in front in that Baneshwara Shiva as pure consciousness. We offer all our worship there to that Baneshwara Shiva as pure consciousness. After the puja is over, we take back that pure consciousness as Thakur Sri Ramakrishna, then place him in our own heart and keep back that Baneshwara Shiva to his original place in the shrine. So that is the difference between what we do and outside aspect of puja. So here, Hridaya Kamalavadde was mainly Abhedanji who composed in Bharanagar Mutt. One day, there is one wonderful story there. Shashi Maharaj, every day, he used to keep fresh twig of neem tree for the sake of brushing the teeth of Thakur. Every day, he used to keep one twig of neem beside Thakur's photo, thinking that Thakur will brush the teeth the moment he gets up. Even if don't have a chance to, devotees have no chance, there is one room in Belur Mutt, behind Sri Ramakrishna's worship room in Belur Mutt. There are two rooms. One is above, second floor is Shayana Graha, where Thakur has bedding and the photograph worshipped by Holy Mother. They are kept in the second floor. In between the first floor, there is a place which is called where all the relics of other disciples have been kept there and worshipped every day. There, some of the belongings of Sri Ramakrishna also has been kept. We are wonderstruck to see Ramakrishna Shashi Maharaj has preserved the twigs used by Sri Ramakrishna during his Dakshineshwara days. He used to brush his teeth with neem twig. Shashi Maharaj has collected all those twigs and kept it. It has been kept in that urn room in first floor of Thakur. So this Shashi Maharaj wanted to keep one twig. He asked Swami Sachidananda, one of the inmate there residing, he asked to keep in twig early morning. Then he placed that twig and went away. Then during breakfast means he is going to offer some fruits to Thakur at 7 or 7:30. He went and saw that twig has been placed in front of Sri Ramakrishna without properly making the fibers very smooth at the end of that neem twig. He was so much offended and he runs behind the Sachinananda and says, "You rogue, with this work you have made the gums of Sri Ramakrishna to bleed. You have made the gums of Sri Ramakrishna to bleed, having kept this twig without properly taking the fibers and smoothening the ends." That was the nishta with which Shashi Maharaj used to worship during the Bharanagar days and even in Chennai. During Aarti, we should remember Swamiji had not composed Kandana Bhavabandhana, neither Omri Mritam. All those things were composed in Neelambar and it was started later in Belur Math only. During those days, they used to sing Jai Shiva Omkara, Hara Shiva Omkara, Bhaja Shiva Omkara as the Aarti song during the worship at evening Aarti's time in Barnagar Math. And coming to the life during those days, they have undergone so much hardship. There was no food, no proper rice. Many days they have not seen rice. They used to collect some bimba, it's called in Bengali in bimba leaves. I don't know what they speak in Kannada. It is like a soppu, a particular soppu, greens. Every day they used to boil that bimba leaves, add salt and take for many months together. And then second is, if they get some small rice out of begging, they cannot eat individually. They had small mat. They used to wash this mat, keep in center of the hall, put whatever rice was there. Everybody has to collect from that common pile. To avoid all this poverty, Shashi Maharaj actually, he was a good at mathematics. He even used to solve some mathematical problems even in Barnagar Math. When he used to feel bored, he used to solve mathematical problems in Barnagar Math. So, he took to teaching, got some salary, through that he used to offer from food for Sri Ramakrishna. Many times, Swamiji, what you know, Swamiji, in spite of all this determination, many times he says, he wanted to close this Barnagar Math. He could inspire all the disciples except Shashi Maharaj. Many times he inspired other disciples to go as itinerant monks and be independent, stay somewhere, not in a congregation like in Barnagar Math, but Shashi was never determined to leave the place without leaving Thakur's. So Swamiji says, I could displace everybody except Shashi. So it was only Shashi Maharaj through which whole Barnagar Math and later the Ramakrishna movement took such a wonderful shape nowadays. And even one day, you know that they had very less clothing except for a lion cloth on their body. They had no other chadar, shirt, etc. What they used to do during night days, when the cold was very intense, what to do? Everybody used to get up and started doing exercise. That is the way to keep themselves warm. There is no clothing, no razai to put on, and they had only lion cloth, langoti on their body. And in the chill of that Calcutta night during the winter days, they used to get up and everybody used to do exercise during dead of their night and then get themselves warm and then to pass their nights. Once, Kali, that is Swami Abhedananda, was sitting. He was a very great, serious reader, especially with respect to scripture. He was studying with such a seriousness. Then there was some little little simple work that has to be done. Everybody, including Latu, was shouting at Abhedananda to come and clean the vessels. And Narendra came, why should he disturb these people? Let him study. And Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda used to wash vessels at Barnagar Math. He used to take all the responsibility. Whatever some sadhu not doing any work, Swami Vivekananda used to come at forefront and do all this work. Yam narrates one wonderful incident with respect to this Barnagar Math. Once he went there to see how these disciples are going on. He saw after many days they could get little rice. They have put all the cooked rice on that mat and they have kept in a bowl pungent chili water. They have nothing to eat. With respect to, there is no salt also to be added for that rice. No dal, no sambar, nothing. Just rice. So they have a pungent smelling chili water. They are taking one morsel of food and adding that pungent chili water into their mouth. Yam could not take or eat that food. Even after 20 years later, when he writes this reminiscence, he says, even now, while remember that food, I still feel that pungent smell of the chili water. But still, Nobody was annoyed with such a condition. Everybody joyfully and happily, with a wonderful austerity, they are living that days at Baranagar. Such a wonderful austerity. Then one day, what happens, you see, Shashi Maharaj was coming. They used to go for alms. Many days they could not get good food, neither alms nor rice. One day, Sharat Maharaj went for alms. Seeing him, one lady says, instructs him. Sharat Maharaj was very fat. She says, why don't you become a tram conductor to get some money and earn and eat? Why do you beg? Why are you begging? Why are you begging here? It's better to become a tram conductor. One day, Shashi Maharaj comes back without any rice. Everybody is sitting and meditating without any care for food. At that time, he goes to a neighbor and requests for some food. Then that person gives half a kg of rice and 2-3 potatoes. He brings that in the afternoon, cooks it, mixes them, offers to Thakur, and gives one morsel of food into everybody's mouth. That was the condition there during Baranagar days. You see Ramakrishna Mission today, don't feel that was the condition when Swamiji was lived there. All through life, Swamiji suffered for our sake. Then one day, seeing all this condition, Swamiji was so much absent. He says, morning they sit for meditation and instruct all these other brother disciples. You see, if Sri Ramakrishna is existing, I feel today, we will sit here and meditate. Let none of us move. Let none of us seek anything. Let none of us ask for anything with anybody. Let none of us go for alms. If Sri Ramakrishna is there, let him provide food. Here in this place, let us sit for meditation. They are meditating till how long? It's evening over, it's late evening, and it's late night, almost midnight. Still they are sitting and meditating. Sri Ramakrishna is also testing them too much. At the dead of night, they hear a knock on the door. And Narendra says to one of the disciples, see, somebody is knocking the door and see something that is in his hand. They open the door and see some unknown person standing there with a delicious food in his hand, and he says, I am coming from the temple of Gopala. If you go to Belur Math, there is one temple on the other side of the Ganges, where there is a Gopala temple, where Sri Ramakrishna used to visit that temple. Even our brahmacharis and sadhus occasionally go there to see that Vrindavan Bihari Krishna there. From the temple, somebody has brought that prasada dead of night, whole day no food, and they are meditating, and then he brought that food for these people without somebody's instruction, and he just offered that food and went away. These people took that food, offered to Sri Ramakrishna, and then ate at dead of the night. Their austerities, their tapasya is incomparable. There are so many stories. I just to quote few. This Tarak never slept, neither in the day nor in the night. This Kali, he is 24 hours busy with the study of scripture. And this Sarada Prasanna is Swami Trigunatitananda. The way he used to do is, he never took food, never took water. He locked himself in a room, meditate and do japa minimum 1 lakh. Counting is not the only thing, but still to mention the time that he devoted for those sadhana, at least 1 lakh times a day, sit 24 hours, and all the disciples so much worried, they knocked the door, brought him outside, pacified him, gave little water. Immediately after drinking water, he ran and went and locked his room. Swami Virjanji writes in a reminiscence in the story of Epoch, he says, in the ground floor, in the damp room, Sarada Prasanna, that Swami Trigunatitananda, used to lock the door for months together doing japa and meditation, living only on banana and water. Not 1 or 2 days, months together, he used to live only on banana and water and do the tapasya. That was the intensity with direct disciples did sadhana in that Baranagar Math. And then one day, this Surendra Mitra, there's a lot of mosquitoes. He gave a big mosquito curtain so that all these 10 to 12 disciples could sleep together in that hall. One day everybody is sleeping in that. Suddenly Tarak, Swami Shivananda, got up in the mid of the night and he saw full of light in that inside that curtain, mosquito curtain. He was seeing from where such intense light is coming out. That light is emanating from the body of Narendranath. Narendranath was sleeping next to Tarak. And he sees there is no Narendranath sleeping, only a big glow of light in the place of that Swamiji. And then he wipes his eyes and again he sees so many Vireshwara Bala Shiva in place of Swamiji. Actually, Tarak didn't know that Bhuvaneshwari Devi had worshipped Vireshwara Shiva of Kashi to get Swamiji as a son, only son, as a boy. Then he was astonished and saw only many Bala Shivas sleeping in place of Narendranath. And he could not sleep further, thinking that his feet may touch Lord Shiva, and whole night that day he meditated and did japa, could not sleep. Later, when he was reading a shloka on Vireshwara Shiva, he could come across a thing which is noted that Vireshwara Shiva also comes as 108 Bala Shivas in some of the darshanas attained by some of the sadhus of olden days. That incident narrated, and he had that experience with respect to Narendranath in that Bharanagar Mutt. That's why that whole Bharanagar, there are so many things. I just gave a panoramic view or a bird's view with respect to early history. And mother says, what was the necessity for all these people? We may need a roof, a chatas to stay. We are all ordinary mortals to stay. We need food for stomach and clothing and a place to stay and do sadhana. We are ordinary mortals. But what was the necessity for these direct disciples to stay one place and make it a mission? Mother, wonderfully, Holy Mother says, love is the binding force for this Ramakrishna movement, and Sri Ramakrishna preached that love to these direct disciples, and that love was the binding force for these disciples to stay together. And hence, there are so many incidents with respect to how they loved each other and how Thakur imparted those teachings, some wonderful incidents which are not narrated in life of Leela Prasanga. Anyhow, so that was the binding force. Narendra had such a deep love. He once says, when Yogananda, you see, he was from a very rich family. They had nothing, a simple clothing. They had no even sandals to wear. If you go to market, one day, this Yogin used to bring Ganga Jal in a pot on his head and vegetables in his hand, coming in a hot midday sun without any footwear on his foot, coming. And Rakal is wiping the vessels, washing vessels, using scrubbers and all things. Seeing all these mother comments, this Yogin, this Rakal, they're all from rich family, and see their condition. They are doing the work of a housemaid in that Bharanagar Mutt. Why? Because for love for Narendranath and Thakur, mother says. So that was the love, that condition that made this Ramakrishna movement into a wonderful movement of today. Still it has to grow and will grow. Anyhow, with these ideas, I conclude here and thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.